God, I thank you for today. I appreciate that you've given us this beautiful moment to just come here all across the world as one people, Africans, to talk about the beautiful continent we love in the beautiful country of Kenya. We thank you that you're allowing us to be alive here today, and we're here for a purpose. And some of us were here to fulfill that purpose. I know we're having this conversation, but we believe that a lot of people will hear this. It will touch a lot of people, and at the end of the day, you'll bring our people together. You'll bring the country together. You'll bring everything together in your precious name. So as we talk about Kenya, but Sudan is in our hearts, Ethiopia is in our hearts, South Africa is in our heart, Tanzania is in our heart, Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Ghana, Rwanda, Burundi, Egypt, Togo, everywhere God is in our hearts. And just pray that you'll lead us from the beginning until the end, and let your kingdom come here on earth as it is in heaven. In your precious name I pray. Amen, amen, amen. So guys, let me know where you're joining from. Let me just highlight you guys here in the comment section. All right. Yes. Yeah. It's good to see you guys. Good to see you. Shoa, it's good to see you. Abaman, Mwenda Tezi is our brother is here already. Regno Music, Reggie, it's good to see you. Study and learn. That's a beautiful name right there. The moment you stop learning, you stop growing. Yes, One Africa, peace, love, and union and prosperity. Yes, to Africa. Janet, first of all, let me just say this. If you're a member, this is what I'm going to do. Janet, I appreciate for everything that you're doing. I appreciate for becoming a member. This is how you can actually support us financially. By becoming a member or just by joining Patreon. And let me just drop the link in the comment section right there. So if you're touched and you feel like, I think this guy, I just wanna support these guys, However, because in this journey, you guys, man, anyways, I have a lot of good news, but you'll see in a very like few days. The good news is this. All right. Should I share with you guys right now or should I just hang on right there? Because of your support, all right? Because of your support, your love and support. Actually, we started a long time ago. I remember last year we had this campaign of, like raising a little funds for the office and everything. And I know most of you maybe have been wondering that, why we don't see office anyway. But I have a good news, guys. We've got an office. And it's already been paid for already. And so right now, as I'm saying, today we have been there cleaning up the place. Tomorrow we're going to be there as well, just preparing the place. And starting from Monday next week, we'll be there like full-time job. So I'm not going to be working from home anymore. I'll be working from the office. And all of that, it's because of the love and support that we got last year from most of our members. And our people here in Swahili Nation. And I send love to you guys. Thank you so much for all the support you've done last year. Hugely. Last year, a lot of people, most of you guys who are watching here, maybe you don't know this, but a lot of people last year, they contributed, their money to just support, to be like, okay, this is an initiative for the office. We got to support. And, we've been working on that behind the scene. And finally, tomorrow, we've already got actually this week. And so you guys will be able to see us from the office. You're trying to work on that. So I want to appreciate for the members like Janet here in the house. I want to appreciate for people who are joining Patreon as well. You guys are really helping us out to move forward. You might think it's just a simple thing, but guys, we have a team here, for example, in Tanzania, basically have like 1, 2, 3, basically like 4 people, and we've been working all this time without anything, but now we're going to be working from the same office 24/7, working with these brothers and sisters as well, and just pushing for One Africa agenda, pushing for the continent, and just to make sure everything is come to pass. All right, it's not just about talking, but also it's about action, and that's what we're doing here. So yeah, if you would like to join and become a member of this family, the link is down in the comment section. I just dropped there to be like Janet right there, so you can join as well. Anyways, without wasting time, guys, I believe you all are here, so please smash the like button and also share this link with somebody, and we're gonna begin in no time. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, let me take a moment to welcome my brother Mwenda Tezi, all the way from Kenya right now. Mwenda Tezi, usually cannot really see Mwenda Tezi's face. He has always been hiding his face. I don't know why. But hey, Mwenda Tezi, welcome to the family, man. It's been a while. How are you?
Well, hello. Can you guys hear me?
Hey, my brother, I can hear you, man. How are you, man?
Hello, Heka. How are you? I'm fine.
It has been a long time, my brother. Where have you been?
We've been in Kenya here. A lot of we have a lot of is it action or a lot of drama and a lot of
Yeah,
things to do. Like never a dull moment in Kenya. So we have been kept busy by just the situation,
yeah,
which I think is affecting the whole of Africa, the
yeah,
economy and all that. So yeah, just
absolutely.
like every other Kenyan, we have
Mm,
all been kept on our toes.
mm, mm, mm. Well, man. Yes. So, Monetez, it's good to have you here again. You know, your voice is always very important. I really miss your session. You had a very intellectual session last year and the year before that. Hopefully, this year as well, you will have that moment to bring back that show, The Hidden Hands, and just, bringing that knowledge to our people. You know, knowledge is power, and I just cannot wait for that. But I believe right now you're a little busy with the state of the country. Um,
Nah,
uh,
nah, 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 nah. You can, I will, if there is always time for the hidden hand. If it is needed, the hidden hand will always come back.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I've always hit you up, man. I'm just waiting for you to tell me, hey, Mika, I'm ready to go. I'll start right here, and you can continue with the show. The hidden hands is very important for our people and for this continent and for the one Africa that are fighting for, right?
Yeah, yeah. Anytime, anytime. We are ready. We are in fact right now when I see there's a need for people to talk. There's a need for people to have their ideas out there. I think,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah,
Whenever you're ready, Mika, I'm also ready. We can have
I'm
the
ready
hidden
right
hand.
now, my brother. I'm ready now. We don't need to wait for this. I'm ready right now. You just let me know that okay. You pick a day. Just pick a day and let me know, and you're gonna start with the show.
Okay, then we have a deal.
All right. That's good. That's good. So we'll do that talk a lot in behind the scene. Yeah. So when tells my brother, let us know, man, what is the state in Kenya? And for those who are watching and they do not understand what's really happening, going down, or where it all started, you as a today, I really want you to be neutral here. Okay, whatever your side is, I just want you to be neutral and to just give us the recap of what is happening, especially for those who have no idea or they just know a little bit. You can help us to give us a little bit of recap of what is happening there and
Okay, okay, Vic.
where it all
I'll
started.
be
Yeah.
neutral. I'll be neutral. I've been neutral for a while. I know sometimes things get passionate, especially with Kenyan politics. There is a lot of passion, as you have seen. Even in the comment section, you talk about Kenya. Things always get a little bit, you know, a little
Yeah.
bit
Yeah.
heated. But so basically, what's happening in Kenya is a very interesting. It's a very interesting uh, phenomena. But right now we are having a protest. We call it maandamano. I don't know if I think it's a Swahili word. Maandamano. It's happened. It's been a thing for a while now, couple of
Mm.
weeks. And this protest results of many things. Everybody has a theory why there is maandamano. There are those who have the political side. There are those who have cost of living and all that. But today, you know what, Mika, today I'm going to be bringing in a little bit of the hidden hand here, because we let's just go deep into this. Let's go.
I love
Sometimes,
I love that.
some, sometimes,
This
people do not see what's happening behind the scenes, as you say, behind the forces behind everything is happening here.
mm,
So to me, there are those who I know I've given you both sides. There are many perspectives, but now let me show you the perspective that I see, and
okay.
I feel like this is a very interesting perspective. That this situation in Kenya is not just about what is it? It's not just about politicians. As I haven't seen in the thumbnail of this video, you saw the two politicians, right? You saw Raila Odinga and
Yeah.
William Ruto, right? So yes, that is how the media would like to push this narrative. That is how they would like to push it. This is the narrative that is pushed everywhere. That it's not even about it's not about the people. It's about these two leaders. These two leaders need to sit down and sit, and when they agree, then everything will be right in Kenya, right? That is the narrative that is pushed. But Today I will not follow this narrative. It has already been pushed enough, and everybody has heard of it. But today I will not follow this narrative. I feel like the narrative that should be, which is it should be between the political class and the people. I think these are the real sides of this. It is between the people and the political class. Because to me, I do not see the difference between Raila Odinga and William Ruto. I know there are those who will see the difference, but to me, to me, they are the same. They are just politicians pushing for their own political interests or personal interests. So let me just give you a short breakdown on what's happening before. Like right now, there is protests, right? There are protests on the streets, and everybody's, everybody's worried. But protests are not new in Kenya. Protests are part and parcel of our history since independence. Kenya and protests, we seem to be married. This is a strong marriage that I don't think is going to end today. But the people, I see what happened is that during the elections, like the last election, William Ruto got elected, right? He got but he won with a very narrow victory. I think 50.7% of the votes. I think that's sharp. That's a sharp half, almost half. Like it was 200,000 votes, and that's the size of even Nairobi has more than a million votes. So that's like a small town, just a small town. It's a small victory. So the problem here is that when the votes are such small like that, when the lead and the winner there is only the person who lost the election will feel like no, something is wrong here. We need to recount. There is that small confidence that wait, I think if we recount the votes, there are small error here and there, I might win this election, or we can push this to a recount or to a re-election. Because in Kenya, the law says that if you don't get above 50% of the votes, 50 plus 1, that means that the votes will have another election. So I feel like because of that, the leader of the opposition right now, there is no leader of the opposition in Kenya. That's not a position in Kenya, but the guy who lost the number 2, Raila Odinga, he feels that there was a little bit of malpractice in
things have been rigged, right?
Yeah, he feels that. But he went to court, and the court looked at all the evidence. He put all the evidence, a whole lorry of evidence, the famous lorry. He went with it to court, and the court looked at the evidence, and they saw that it was not enough to overturn the election. So it upheld the election of William Ruto as president. So ever since then, Raila has been, challenging everywhere he can see, everywhere he can challenge, he's challenging, which he should, as the quote unquote opposition. That is what the work of that is his role, right? Is to challenge the government. There needs to be accountability in everything, right? So that is who he's been challenging the government here and there. And for the first few months of his election, people were not. He did not have the. Is it popular initiative, or he did not have? People were tired. People were not into. The election was already heated. People were like, okay, now the election has passed. Let's get to work and all that. So he did try to have this mandamano last year, but it was not catching the way he wanted. So, and I think his aim. And this has been because of he did it before with the previous President Uhuru Kenyatta, the retired president. He did this too, and he wants. There is those who are pushing for him to have negotiations with the president, so that they have some sort of. Is it a deal or a power sharing deal? Maybe not power sharing, but some sort of an agreement. They called it the last one. It was called a handshake. He did it also with Kibaki. I think it was called nusu mkate. So now I think there are those who are seeing the past. They're reading from history, and they see that maybe this guy wants another one like that. and they're calling. I don't know now. It's being called bipartisan talks. The name changes, but it is just like I said. It's just an agreement between the political classes to have a I don't know if it's called. I don't know if the appropriate word is power sharing, but to have some sort of the word was handshake or nusumkate, but yeah, it is some like the opposition wants to have a part of the cake. That's what that is the claim. So because of that, he the way he does it, as for those who read Frantz Fanon, it's a very he's a writer. He used to write back in the 50s and the 60s. He did this thing of using protests or using the people maandamano to as leverage to the government. It is not new. It is something that has happened in Kenya. Even Frantz Fanon said this when he was writing about Kenya, when the fight for independence, where the politicians or the people will use protest and say, oh, look at the country is about to burn. Oh, the country is people are fighting it. If you want me to stop them, you need to talk to me nicely. As in, there is that perspective. That is not new. That I think it was done by the first president of Kenya. Frantz Fanon alludes to that in his book, that was how the politicians, even during the colonial period, negotiated for power and all these pacts. So they feel there is a strong argument that this is what's happening back then. But it did not have power. It did not have any fire. It did not catch fire during the first few months of William Ruto's presidency, because people were like, okay, the election is over. Let's get to work. Let us see what William Ruto has in store and all that, right? So there was no people. There was not much protest. And it died down, right? But then later. There is this, as every African government continues, now these scandals start to come. As governments continue to mature, you start to see scandal here, scandal there. So that excuse of, oh, I'm still new, it starts to wear down. Then, but I think the straw that broke the camel's back. Or is the recent, there was a recent bill, the budget that was passed recently, and it was a very huge taxes were installed there. There was housing levy, very unpopular taxes. So that will have led to the increase of cost of living in the country. So these unpopular taxes and all that. In fact, the bill was so unpopular that there was a poll that was done, and 7 out of 10 Kenyans did not want this thing to pass. This bill that was,
So but, the deal about tax, you're talking about tax right now.
Yeah, talking about taxes. Now the taxes. So this is the first budget of the William Ruto's presidency. This is his government's first budget. Now it is so. This bill had taxes that were not popular, like taxing for houses, increasing. So even digital creators were going to be taxed. Increasing fuel tax from 8% to 16%. So everything. This bill would essentially increase the cost of living, which is already high. People are already feeling the pressure of the cost of living. There's also inflation. There's a lot of economic pressure in Kenya. And I don't even think it's a Kenyan issue. This is probably an African issue. The economy is not is taking a hit because of inflation and all this global geopolitics, right? The war in Ukraine. So already people are already strained themselves. Then you pass this bill that had already one of the most unpopular bills. Already, was passed forcefully. Really, it was forcefully, because I feel like if there was more negotiations, and it might have succeeded. But now, because this bill was passed, people will Raila Odinga, the leader of the opposition, he saw an opportunity. You have given him fire. You have given him some because now people are not happy with the government, and now he has taken advantage of this and said, you know what, we are going. He has even restructured his the reasons why people will protest. Before he was telling people to go and protest the election. Now he's saying no. We are going to protest our protest is going to be about cost of living, all of that. Things like the price of food, price of
Yeah.
fuel. Then down there he says election. You know,
Mm.
so now you have given him a lot of fuel. You have given him fuel to his campaign. You have given now when it calls for protest, people are
Mm.
now coming out. Now it is nationwide. Now everybody is angry, and people are angry because of cost of living, all of that. But now
Yeah.
you see, you have given him initiative. That
Mm.
so I
Mm.
think there is where William Ruto should have maybe thought it through. But to
Yeah.
me, I don't. To me, I don't think. I think the problem did not even begin with the William Ruto's government. Although he
Yeah.
was in government, even he was the deputy president. I think this
Yeah.
problem began during Uhuru Kenyatta's first term. And we
Yeah.
talked about this, even you'll be talking about this issue of
Yeah.
African governments borrowing. So this now when you borrow the loans, oh, we're building roads, we're building all these things. Without any fiscal discipline, without any sort of
Yeah.
plan, these things tend to now the loans were borrowed around 10 years ago when William Ruto was deputy president. He was still part of that government.
Yeah.
And the problem is, and this is why I say these people, they are in the same side to me. The
Mm.
handshake government, which was the second term of Uhuru Kenyatta's presidency, where Raila Odinga, who is the leader of the opposition, was friends with the president, were pushing bills together with the president Uhuru Kenyatta. So all of them are that. William Ruto and Raila Odinga are all part of the mess that is in Kenya right now. You see?
Mm. So what you're saying is that the impact in economy that is happening right now in Kenya is the result of the previous leadership, that both of these guys, the vice president at that time was Ruto, and
Yeah.
Odinga was the prime minister, right?
No. He was. They call it the handshake.
Uh,
Him and the president had
yeah,
agreed to a memorandum or something. They came to an agreement, and they were passing bills in parliament
yeah,
as
yeah.
one. Yeah. In fact, both their parties joined, become one party before the election.
So
So
yeah, so
so all of them, to me, Raila Odinga, we are all responsible for these problems that are. They all have a part of the blame to the
so
problems that are happening in Kenya.
what do you think is the intention of Raila Odinga's side to push throughout all this demonstration that is happening right now, knowing that what is happening right now was actually caused by them, right? So, what is the point, having all these, demonstrations and all these riots that are happening there? In
Yeah,
your thought?
that yeah. This is where now I was talking about my theory that to me, I think these people are working together. To me, that is my own idea. But I've seen this idea being pushed also by other people.
Yeah,
I feel like these people, this is just to them, this is not about, and you can even see the narrative. Like I said, even the pictures you put in the thumbnail, the pictures that are pushed even by the media, it's
yeah.
between Raila Odinga and
Mm,
William Ruto. Nothing
mm,
about cost of living, nothing about the economy, debts, nothing about. You see, they're trying to push this. They're trying to distract
mm,
people from talking about the real issues.
mm,
You know,
mm, mm.
so to me, I feel like because they are both responsible,
Yeah,
they are both responsible for what happened, what's the problems that we are having today. Because they
yeah.
are both responsible, they don't
Mm,
want also the conversation to be about what to be very critical. Like, okay, how did we get into this mess, and how do we get ourselves out? They don't want that
yeah.
because then they will be exposed. You know,
Mm,
because they're like, oh,
mm,
wait, weren't you the one who passed this thing? Weren't you in the government that borrowed this loan that is disturbing us? So they are going to push it now to make it more political, and you can even see by the politicians here that with their grandstanding, like, oh, the government saying, oh, people, we will not be, we will not be cowed, we will not be blackmailed, and the other politician says, no, we will continue to protest. We are with the people. All this is not even, none of them, all this is not, nobody's coming up with solutions. Nobody's talking about how we got here. Nobody's talking about, they want just us to concentrate on the politics.
Mm. Mm.
So this is why the Chief Justice, the former Chief Justice of Kenya, Willy Mutunga, Chief Justice Emeritus Willy Mutunga, he said something that he says, in fact, these people should come. They should negotiate. To me, he says that they should come together. They should agree that then they should become one person, that like the previous government, the handshake government.
Mm.
Like they should they should come to an agreement and they become friends, and now they push this so that people can know that this line is not between people who support Raila and people who support Ruto. The line, because people should see them as who they are, as politicians versus the people. So to me, and I agree with him, I agree that people, this thing here, this protest, though I feel like there are people, there are those who are protesting genuine, they are protesting for better. They are angry, like the cost of living is rising, and these people are looking like as if they don't care. The government is just passing bills that are irrational, right? But this idea that that this talk, like, we need to go deeper. Like, we need to go deeper than just politicians. We need to go deeper as Africans. This is not even just a Kenyan problem, because as Africans, we need now to look at details. We need to go into details why we got here. Why we need to, our agenda does not need to revolve around personality. We need to grow up from personality politics, where we look at somebody's personality and we like them and we think, we need to have our own agenda as the people, and say, whether you are whatever personality you have, whatever who you are, as long as you are pushing this agenda that improves the lives of Africans, Kenyans, East Africa, all over Africans. If agendas like manufacturing, if your policies improve manufacturing, if your policies improve food security, healthcare, if you have those are the policies that we need to look about. We need to stop looking at people that, oh my God, this guy, we support this guy. Why do you support him? And we don't know, because we like him. Not because he's pushing any policy. Because if we looked at our policies and our agenda, these guys will be exposed for the frauds they are. Because just the other day, they were the problem. They're causing these problems. Now they are acting like they have the solutions. So I think this is the problem that we are having as Africans. That we are allowing our leaders, not because of personality politics. We allow our leaders to reinvent themselves as different people. Yet, just a few years back, these are the people who are causing these problems. So that's a short. I don't know if maybe I've been a bit long-winded, but that's a little bit of a description of what's happening in Kenya. So right now we have, So right now we have, right now we have weekly protests. The government, the opposition has said, hey, we are going to be having weekly protests, which is a right of every Kenyan, that now every week, I think they have declared now it's Wednesday. It used to be Wednesday, and it used to be Fridays, I think, but now it has changed to be Wednesday to Friday. So even tomorrow there'll be protests, and to me, they're trying to apply pressure so that the government can sit on the negotiating table, and so that they can all have a piece of the cake, And this is the problem also with our politicians. They see government as cake. They see as, even, and not a political problem. Even you see it even in the news, even the way the media portrays, oh, look at these lucrative ministries. What if only African media can put a ministry or a job, and a government job, as lucrative? Why is it lucrative? Why do you call a job lucrative? Because because deep inside, ingrained in our subconscious, we are seeing corruption. You say, oh, this is easy to steal. This is this ministry has good ways of stealing money. So it's even fed to us through our media how corruption, corruption is just, it is a big issue in Africa, by the way. I know the whole world is suffering from corruption, but that does not mean that we should just ignore the corruption in Africa. We should also fight it, because there are countries who have fought these things. So I think also Africans, we should fight it, and we should also accept that this corruption, it is a tool. It is a tool that is used by Western powers to chain, as in it's like a chain. It's like it is a tool that is used to subjugate Africans. They know. You know when you run. This is why I know, for those who are in the WhatsApp group. Sometimes, and you can see this when William Ruto is a very outspoken, and if you listen to this guy speak, you can see that he has that talent of, you know talking to people and pushing his message and pushing his agenda. You can even see the way he speaks. Very talented in that. He's very good. Even probably one of the big reasons why he won the election. Yeah, he has that talent. But the West, they see this and they say, but they can even see, wait, if you have corruption in your government, this is like a big weakness, that even when you go against Western powers, they can use this weakness against you.
Mm.
So even the other day, okay, let me not go too deep, but yeah, I think that's just a brief, maybe not so brief, but a sort of description of just the situation in Kenya.
Yeah, yeah. No, I appreciate Mwenda Tez. I was looking at one of the documentary the other day. He was sharing about how much actually, for example, the agenda of LGBTQ in Africa, like it's basically like that's not the real issue, but the issue is all the time when there's an improvement going on somewhere, there's always these agendas that they come to Africa intentionally to just distract the focus of our people, the focus of maybe our governments or what we focus on, and so that we may focus on something else. So this topic becomes really big, that people, they are not concentrating on the things that matters a lot to talk about. For instance, talk about the life in Africa, and to talk about the development, to talk about the corruption, talk about all this stuff. So we change our focus and talk about these agendas. So it's basically it's kind of like what Western media all the time does, right? They just throw, like, now you have COVID-19. COVID-19, it was the topic every single day. There's no such a, like, I've never seen something being pushed on the media like COVID-19 during that time. Everywhere you turn on, it's like that. And then after that, we had this Ukraine war that you see like everywhere all the time, and the whole world just changing the focus and go, towards that. And then you finish that, you have another agenda. Like all the time, there's something. So when you're talking about in Kenya, that your theory that you have, I think that is happening a lot in Africa. And what I love is that I see a lot of working in African countries. For example, here in Tanzania, the big topic that has been going on for more than a month right now, it's about the port, right? The story of the port and being given to United Arab Emirates. That's something that has been happening, and people are talking every single day, and people, they are actually opposing it against the government. They are angry, and they say, no, we don't want this to happen. Okay, when you look at Ethiopia, this has been happening for so long, like Ethiopians standing against the own leader there. Now you have Kenya, and as you say, like, you see, it's kind of like it's the opposition between the government actually and the people. They're like, our lives are getting hard, and all this stuff are going here and there, so we want to see some change. And for me, when I look at that, I feel really happy, because I feel like our people working. Back in the days, you never have people really standing, like, against the government like that, always scared of talking things about that, not like in the way that we see right now, but you can see this horizon and awakening in our people across the continent, just standing. And I think it's the good gesture. But I was checking the news just a couple minutes ago. I've seen two things. First of all, Raila Odinga hasn't been seen for a couple days right now, and like 8 days, I believe. And also I've seen the president, William Ruto, announcing that these protests must come to an end. So from next week, I think he announced that there will no longer be these protest. And another thing is that during this process, I believe one of the saddest thing that is happening is that some people died. I've seen, the news of like 10 people. I don't know if that's the correct number. Correct, because one of the things that we don't want it to happen to our people is like that, like people dying, innocent people who basically just standing for something. Even if it's just one death, it's a big number, it's a huge number. We cannot lose our people like this. So these are unnecessary things that they don't need to happen in our countries, because they jeopardize the peace of the nation, right? Like today we're talking about just this, but tomorrow we might be talking about something else if we keep entertaining what is happening. So I want to hear your thoughts about all these things that I just mentioned here.
Yeah, you've spoken a very good point. A lot of good points there. Especially, let me just start with the LGBTQ issue, right? You see,
Yeah.
this is like I say, this is why I keep saying that these two people, or not even just this, our African leaders. I
Mm.
think people forget. People forget that the West has ambassadors in Africa, all over, who are here with us, just listening to us, listening to our politics, and giving their governments feedback, you know,
Mm.
and
Mm.
so when we think that our governments are what is it? Let me just say, our government, sometimes even this government, we feel like let me give they're giving what is it, this, like William Ruto or President Museveni. Even you can even see it here in the Swahili Nation channel, these beautiful speeches that our leaders give. A
Yeah.
lot of things hurt me when I see these speeches, because you start to understand that, wait, so these leaders know the problem. This, so they know the issues. It's not that they don't know the issues. You know,
Mm.
like,
Mm.
so it's even more insidious that these issues are not being solved, because even
Yeah.
these leaders, they know the issues, they know the problems. When they speak, oh, so these are the problem and they're not solving it. It even hurts even more. And when one thing about this issue with LGBTQ, and I keep saying this, and I'll drop. Let me go a little bit in the hidden hand. You know,
Yeah. Uh-huh. I love that.
I was talking about, look at the ambassador to Kenya, the American ambassador to Kenya.
Yeah.
Her name is Meg Whitman. Now,
Mm.
guys, I know guys don't know this, but go and research, just Google her net worth. She is a billionaire, dollar billionaire. She's worth $3.5 billion. That is her net worth. She is wealthier than Donald Trump. She is wealthier than Donald
Wow.
Trump.
So she
What?
ain't really there for Emma's reason. It's something.
Yeah. Like I said, and she was appointed to Kenya last year on an election year.
Yeah. Wow. Mm-hmm.
Like, let's go hidden hand. I'm just telling you. And
Okay.
why she's a billionaire. She's a $3.5 billion. She's wealthier than Donald Trump. She can be anywhere in the world. She doesn't.
Mm.
But why is she in an African country as an ambassador of all the? She can even be a cabinet secretary in Biden's cabinet. He can be an American cabinet, probably, if she wanted.
Yeah.
She has that level of.
There's definitely something else. Yeah.
Yeah, you see. So to me, you can see that this thing where this is why I feel like when we underestimate the West sometimes, that
Yeah.
they are not going to use, their strategies are also evolving. So when we
Yeah.
see our leaders all of a sudden speaking boldly, they are speaking like, oh, and we think the West is just taking it and keeping
Yeah.
quiet, and
Yeah.
but our leader, because he talked like this, he has really showed the West, he has really showed them. But no, look at the
Yeah.
policies that are being passed in Africa. This is why I keep saying, let's not be distracted by politicians.
You know what you're saying, that there's something that I really would like to share. called agenda settings. Agenda setting,
Yeah.
is one of the methods that are used in the world, actually, in what should be discussed by the community, be discussed by the society in the media. So in social media and in just normal media, even in life. So there are many agenda settings from scholars, but there are basically kind of like three popular agenda setting. And the first one is media agenda settings. The second one is political agenda setting. And the third one is public agenda setting. So what happened is this. So for instance, you may find that there's a country, certain country, let's say Kenya, that has an agenda of organizing a demonstration, like what is happening right now, of citizen to claim, about the difficult or situation of life, to kind of like that is kind of like political agenda, all right? Kind of like demonstrate and to stand against all this, difficult of life that is happening in the country. And suddenly, all of a sudden, you just find that the agenda of a pastor, a certain pastor who kills people and digs, them into pit, right? It just emerged all the way like from nowhere. This is public agenda. So you have a political agenda that are people demonstrating they want the betterment of their lives, and this is what we want. And then all of a sudden you have this, whatever it is, like something arising that is public agenda to distract those people to focus on the political agenda that they have. Suddenly people stop protesting, and turn to something else entirely. So for example, on a day like today, like so all this stuff, it's something that is really like happening, and especially in Africa. In Africa, even in other parts of the world as well. And most of the time we don't really I don't we don't really think about it, that there's always media agenda setting, political agenda setting, and public agenda setting, and they always play together. If there's something, I remember even here, in Tanzania, when it was happening with this sport thing, there's a lot of agenda came all of a sudden. So people, they kind of like lose focus to discuss about something else, and they're not focusing on the matter. And that's why I love what you said here today when the test is that this issue, it has nothing to do with these two politicians, the image we see out there, right? Because if we see that image, I think lesser really happening in inside. And what is happening is between the government and the people. They want people that don't care about politics. They don't. I'm telling you, like if the life is good, if people are they're having this normal life in the, nobody will stand to protest against Ruto and be like, you president, you must get out of there. Nobody. Maybe there'll be some people, but just few people. If the life is good, it's like the living of life is going very well. And I think that is one of the things that Africans are really tired, not just in Kenya, but in across the continent. They're tired because you constantly have politicians who you don't really see whatever they do for the people. You see things are keep just changing, negatively. They just get bad and bad and bad, and there's nothing being done, right? And people right now, they're tired. Our brothers and sisters outside of the continent, they're tired. They're kind of like, they're tired. Some of them, they don't even want to come back home because they feel like, man, the life back home, it's even harder. Like when you get there, we don't know how things are gonna move forward. And people here in the continent, they're even more tired. That's why they end up, going outside and they're like, we don't care. Liwalo na liwe. We don't care if, anything gonna happen. I'm ready even to put my life on the line for whatever that is happening, because this kind of life, we don't want it to happen, right? So I think this is the call, not only to our people, because sometimes it's hard. It's hard to tell people that, don't go outside to demonstrate and all this stuff. It's hard, as long as, there's no all this violence, because I'm not up to violence. I believe people, they have freedom to stand, for their countries, and especially when it comes to, the living of the life. I believe that, and this should be a sign, and it should be a awakening to our politicians and all these people who are leading us, that people are actually tired. And these are now those days that you can do whatever the heck you wanna do, and people just stay silent and be like, "Yes, sir." No, these Africans of today, they don't even call you Mr. President. They call you with your name, by your name.
Yeah.
Be like, why should I honor you? You're not an honorable man. There's no reason to call you honorable minister, honorable. You're not an honorable man. I ain't gonna call you. I'm gonna call you by your name. Because you ain't working for me. I'm not gonna stick there and just break what I'm not really doing. So, I think I just wanted to add to what you're sharing on all these agendas, that they're conflicting one after another one.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mika. Actually, yeah, that's exactly what you say. That I think we also have to celebrate that the African is also getting more and more educated, more and more knowledgeable. And I don't know, we have to watch out for this because I'm starting to see African governments changing their education policies. I don't know if you have noticed, maybe in Tanzania or I don't know, but we have to be careful because this educated African might also be targeted. Like, okay, they might even want to change the education system so that the next generation maybe does not question or is less questioning than this generation. You see, you can already see that
Right.
even these efforts of trying to hoodwink Africans or trying to distract us, they
Yeah.
they are they are they are becoming less and less effective. You know,
Indeed. Yeah.
like
Exactly.
even when you see, like you just mentioned the president saying next week that there will not be any. He does not have that power. He doesn't have that power. The power of protest is in the constitution. The power it is sealed. It cannot. Nobody can give you permission. Even me, if I want to do it tomorrow, nobody, and you cannot even take me to court. You will what I've done nothing wrong. It is part of the constitutional right to protest. You see, but the president, he knows this. He has many lawyers. He knows this, but he's saying this not because he doesn't know the law or anything. He's saying this because he wants to make it between him and Raila Odinga.
Yeah.
He wants it to be William Ruto versus Raila. So he will say this grandstanding. He will take this stance. Grandstanding. So next week they will not. Then Raila will answer him and say, no, we will have protests next week. So you find that now and then the media will come and say William Ruto versus Raila Odinga.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Monetezi. Monetezi, I lost you for a while. I lost you for a moment. So, guys, yeah, let us know as well your thoughts in the comment section. It's really important to know where you guys are standing
Hello.
and what are your stand. Yeah, Monetezi, let me ask you this. So,
Yeah.
what do you think? Because honestly, I'll tell you this. For me, if the protest is causing innocent lives and people to die, I'm not up to that. I know it's constitutionally it's a right for the people, but I don't like when I see Africans are dying like that. I think we're better than that, and I think it's a time for us to make sure that no one is dying because of things like that. I don't want to. So two things that I want you to highlight is what can we do to make sure that even though like people are protesting, but yet we cannot have anybody dying because of that. Second, what should president of Kenya do way forward right now to change what is happening? What do you as a citizen of Kenya, what are your opinion and what do you think has to be done to get out of this situation? Because you cannot focus on the development of Kenya if people are demonstrating every single day. Nothing will be done, because all the focus will be on making sure that there's no chaos happening, or making sure that no war is happening. And I think this is very distraction to the development of the Kenyan everything. So what should be done, and both maybe from leader of the country and as well from the people?
Okay. So yeah, okay. What should be done? I think one of the first things you mentioned is exactly another situation of distraction, right? Like when you talked about people dying.
Mm.
Who is killing these people? Nobody is like, like, it's exactly how the narrative is. It's just people are dying. People are dying. Who is killing? Nobody's talking about. Nobody is. The media and the people. The narrative is not about the details. It's not about who is killing these people. If you want to
Mm.
prevent the death of, you have to know. You will find out. Oh, wait, it is the police that is killing these people. Why are police killing protesters? And the conversation becomes deeper, and then we will find solutions. But now we say no, we should stop protests because people are dying. We have not what it is this level of this. I don't know if it's distraction or just
Yeah.
putting this mist over in front of our eyes. You
Yeah.
know that we cannot even go into details, and I feel like it is the politicians that do
Yeah.
not want us to think black deeply. Because in the end of the day, one of Kenya's biggest problems, I just say it,
Mm.
and I think this is an African problem, is police brutality.
Yeah.
You know, and
Absolutely.
and not, I see it in Uganda. The guy Bobby Wine, man. You have how many videos have you seen him get getting brutalized by police? And
Yeah.
we need so this has been an issue, and if we talk about this issue, we remove police brutality. And one of the problems in Africa, and I said this before in the hidden hand,
Mm.
is that African presidents, not African, and not just African president, African leaders, they do
Yeah.
not like a competent police. Because if the police is competent, if the law enforcement, not, let me just, if the law enforcement in Africa starts being competent, those leaders
Mm.
are going to jail.
Mm.
Because it is the if the law enforcement starts being without being, stops being political, stops being influenced, and just looking at the law as it is, a lot of
Yeah.
these leaders will go to jail. You know, because now they'll be investigated. They'll be the first to be investigated. So one of the problems in Africa is, and I see this not, and I even see this when I see our brothers in the diaspora, especially in the US, where they are fighting police brutality. And I always, and I know there are still challenges in the US and stuff like that. But I always love how these things, they always, even if they are fighting, and even if it is not, they have yet to maybe fully solve this issue,
Mm.
you see it ends up in maybe their policy proposals. There's always some, it ends up in some sort of policy proposal, like, oh, police should now have cameras, police should have,
Yeah.
and this is the type of, and it's not just, it's a demonstration of how governments in the West work, and how stagnated, not even stagnated, yeah,
Yeah.
governments here work. Like, like when we
Mm.
have a problem, we are prevented from thinking deeply, that it ends up in a policy statement, that, oh, like, even when our leaders, and this is why I'm also critical of leaders who speak just good speeches in front of a camera. They speak
Yeah.
the Pan-African speech, but nobody goes and follows, sees, oh, okay, you spoke like this, now what are their policies? Huh?
Mm.
What, no, we need, even us in the Pan-African space, even
Yeah.
we need to be very vigilant when we are looking at our when we are looking at our own leaders, and like when we are even looking at our issues, that we should just not we should look beyond speeches, and, okay, what are the policies that will solve this issue when we have issues of integration. We don't want leaders just saying, no, we need to unite Africa, but here you are putting up deals that are undermining,
Yeah. The
making
unity
deals with
of
the West. Then you are undermining your own your African neighbors. You are undermining them, and here you are
yeah.
giving us a Pan-African speech. It's not, or
Yeah.
you are putting taxes at the border. You are preventing trade at the border, and here
Yeah.
you are giving us an Africa. So we need to hold our leaders accountable, even when they talk about Pan-Africanism, or the unity of Africa. Oh, Africa is oppressed. You cannot complain about IMF. Then we hear going back to IMF asking for a loan. It's
You know.
it's not. You cannot.
You know. You know.
Yeah.
Monates, that's one of the things that we are finding actually an opportunity even to meet up with His Excellence William Ruto. Hopefully one day we'll have that a chance to meet up and to talk about these things, because there's always way forward, especially when you talk about Pan Africanism and Africa in general. It's not something that can be done by just a single person. It's something that has to be done with all the 54 leaders that we have. Basically, it's something that can be done by African Union, because at the end of the day, they are there to implement whatever suggestion that this 54 president might have. And I think one of the biggest agenda is reformation of African Union and giving power to African Union, Pan-African Parliament, so that they may be able to actually execute all these ideas, and they may be empowered to put it into action. Because as a single individual, no matter how good ideas you have, you ain't gonna be able to implement in the continent if African Union they're not gonna stand in their position and do something. So for us, that's why I think I mentioned that a couple weeks ago that we want to meet with His Excellence and anyone who is standing for Pan Africanism, because we have the same spirit, we share the same ideas. Like whatever that these guys are talking about is what we have been talking about here for the past 4 years. So we want to sit down and be like, okay, what next? What are we going to do? Because you guys in the position of power, we are in the position of actually, creating all these policies and bring the youth, the energy that is out there and wants really to see the change that we need to see it happening. So what's the next forward? Because we're ready. If you want to implement this, you need people. And we as the people we're here, we are ready to carry this forward to make sure that these things are happening in our generation and not just things that we're going to talk about and we see no implementation. So it's something that we, like me personally, the team, we are ready to take, that initiative and follow along, because you can't just sit and talk, but we want to go to African Union to talk to them. Even though it might not even happen, you go in there, you might not even, because of bureaucracy and everything. I want to go and to meet up with His Excellence Ruto. I want to go and meet up with all these His Excellence who they always, talk about this, to really want to see that implementation. We don't even want to be in the position, but we want to, we want to see the betterment of Africa. And if there's someone out there speaking about this, having ideas that we share in common, we want to step outside, join our hands, and make sure to make this, happen. But I want to bring you back to one of the things that you're talking about, education. And I want to connect with our brothers and sisters in the diaspora, because I think it's really important. Maris Monroe once said this, that he said that the power of the oppressor is the maintenance of ignorance. All right, that like and that's what has been happening for so long in Africa, right? For so long in Africa that and the bad thing is this: not only from the Western countries, but also we have seen from our leaders that there are certain things that Africans we do not know. We're not even aware. Let's say even about our resources or about certain things in the country. Like sometimes you find out Muzungus, they know more about your country than yourself. Of course, one of the things is that because Africans, we don't really read our history and don't really get to understand our culture, we don't even read about other African countries' culture. But those guys, because they have a huge interest in Africa, they know a lot of things about Africa, even more than us Africans. But another side is just there's this kind of like secret movement, something like the things out there, but they're really hidden. For example, when it comes to the thing of resources, and all these beautiful like gold, diamond that we have in Africa, most of them, the most people who knows about these are leaders in the government, and most of people who even they're in the business are them. But most of local people, we don't even know. We have no idea because there's no that information. But those information you find in all Muzungus and Westerners, they know, and the leaders. So there's kind of like this ignorance of even things that we have, because they are maintaining this ignorance of people not to be aware of what they have, the power they have, the strength they have, so that they may not arise and actually fight against that. Because I believe the breakthrough of Africa is knowledge. Like Africa, we are where we are, and the poverty we are struggling with, that it's because of knowledge. That ignorance that is out there, basically the ignorance, like in Hebrew, meaning it means darkness. The darkness that we have of not knowing about things, the oppressor try again and again to maintain that, so that we may not be awakening. And that's one of the things that is happening right now in Africa when it comes to education system, but also even for diaspora to come back home. I've heard a lot of stories that right now, even the government of US, it actually stopping people, diaspora, to come back to Africa in a very bureaucratic way, because they know that these guys, they have knowledge. These guys, they have understanding. They know how the government works. They know all the tricks and tactics. They have been part of that community. They were born there, most of them. So when they're coming the continent, they see this, awakening of our people, because they're bringing that knowledge in the continent. They're bringing that heart in the continent. And since most of our countries are receiving a lot of loans and aids from those countries, there's this friction. Right? Obviously friction. And that's why most of people, they say, okay, Mika, you're inviting us to come back home, but where are we gonna live? What about the passports? What about our visas? Because we want to come, but there's this difficulty of getting, we don't have passport of our countries. It's hard to get visa. It's even permission to get from our countries is becoming harder and harder, and in your countries door are not happening. So I was asking myself, why this is the case? Why the doors are not opening from home? Then I realized that, there's a pressure out there. There's a pressure from the oppressor that no, this is not going to happen. Because as Lumumba said, the division of Africa is business for them. And so we are in this state that we cannot move, we cannot do anything. We want to break out, but God is good because we have channels like this, Swahili Nation, and a lot of channels, Tuna Check, and other people who are bringing a lot of knowledge. So in a way, we get this, and that's the reason why I've been sharing all these videos of these leaders, because regardless of all the weaknesses that they have, regardless of all the shortcomings that we all do have, but there's this knowledge that it needs to stay out there. It needs to stay out there for our people to actually listen, grasp it, and actually do something about it. It's not just about watching and being entertained and be like, whoa, yes, you are a good guy. Yes, I love you. No, it's about what are you going to do with that knowledge? Because we need to awaken our people, and we need to see, we need to make sure that we bring that change. Maybe our leaders might not be able to do it because they have a lot of things in their hands and a lot of whatever it is. But we as a people, it's a moment for us to call the shots and to actually, bring that change that Africa needs. So I wanna hear your thoughts on that as well, and just bring you back there, because I think that was really important point to highlight a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, especially the point where the diaspora, this prevention of the diaspora to not come to us. It's a very interesting thing because, and it goes back to the political class. Frantz Fanon, he put it as they call them the middle class and the upper class. These people, when sometimes it's good, especially to know our history as Africans, that when the white man, when he left Africa after colonization and independence, he left a middle class that became middle class by serving the white man. And so this middle class, they lack ideas. They do not, and their work is, and they make money from. And you can just look at these African billionaires, these rich Africans. You find you don't have industry. You're not a captain of an industry. You've not created anything, but you're a billionaire because you know people. So your work is maybe your work is to maybe sell oil to the white man. You sell diamond to the white. Your work is to still serve the white man. You're still serving the extraction process that was there during colonization. That is still the job you're doing. And now that is the billion. Now you're a billionaire because you sell diamonds to the white man. You sell gold, oil, all our resources. So you are still, So these are the people who are the white man is comfortable, or the Mzungu or the colonizer is comfortable in Africa as the leaders of Africa. So when you have people like diaspora who are coming back, they're coming back to create. They're coming back because they come from the society where, because in Western society the billionaires are not politicians. They have created something. They are industrialists. And so they come from that type of society and they see that these people are coming to Africa. They're coming with this mentality of creating and becoming industrialists and becoming. I feel like maybe they see this as a threat. Because they are comfortable with this lazy middle class that we have here. These ones that don't have any ideas. Their richness comes from. In Kenya we say warehouse economy, where you're either importing or exporting. As in resources, and you are an intermediary. You're just, and that is where you get money as an intermediary. That's why when even we talk about government jobs are that you see government job as lucrative. Why is it lucrative? Because you'll be dealing with the Mzungu there, and you're dealing here the person in the middle between the Mzungu and the African, just like colonial times. So that's why I understand why they will be trying to prevent these people who have the idea of industrialization, the idea to create, the idea to these are people who want to make money in Africa through ideas, through innovation, through creativity. And then they have capital. Because they are coming from the West, they have that Western capital. So I can understand why, and I can see the motivation for Western governments, and not just Western governments. You can even see some African governments are like, hey, you're going to, we still want to be the politicians are like superstars in Africa. They want to be the people who say, like even they want to be the ones who say.
My
They
brother,
don't want.
the heart,
Hmm?
I'm sorry for cutting you, but the heart of serving is not there. For most of politicians in Africa, there's no like servant leadership, knowing that you're there to save your people and not to be famous. Most of them, they just like the idea of having blue tick and all the stuff, working with I'm really annoyed all the time. I'm walking around the street, I always just see all this Vingora, we call Vingora. What can you say that in English? Like Vingora. Vingora is like, when you have all these politicians coming with their cars and all the cars, you have to step outside, and these guys, they're just rushing, and it's evening, they're rushing back home to work for the country, to work for the country. But they just love that idea of having power, the idea of being respected, idea of being called, honorable minister or honorable whatever member of the parliament, but they don't really serve the people. And that's what is really disgusting when you think about the politics in Africa. Politics is supposed to be really something really beautiful that people love, and that people like, they're really like up to it. But it became really it became like, I don't know, like it
Personality politics.
exactly, like people, they hate it. They hate it with the idea because of how it has become. Because you have just bunch of people who they don't really, um you have few people who are really, genuine there, for the people. I gotta give credits, to some of them. And sometimes it's really hard to know what is going on behind the scenes, all the time. So sometimes we try to create this balance all the time. We come here and not just leaning on one side and try to, try to speak that, sometimes you have this, sometimes you have that. But yeah, but I really hope, man. I really, yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me just stop there. Let me just stop. But I'd love to know, man, as we are approaching near the end. I don't want this to be too long as well, but I want to know what would be your closing statement, and what would you say, man? Way forward. What's up, Kenya? I think that's the title. So what's up? What now?
I think what the way forward. I think is I don't know. I think it's education. I think the way forward is education. And I think we need to continue. I feel like also the fact that I'm also encouraged by the fact that it's becoming harder and harder to fool Africans. I feel like maybe that is we're heading in the right direction. People are like, even in Kenya, look, people are fighting for the cost of living. Very rarely, we also have to appreciate that before, how many Africans knew what a bill, a parliamentary bill could, a parliamentary bill has caused riots, is causing protests that is
Yeah,
countrywide, because they can see, not because of what it can do now, but what it will do there in the future. So I see this is a positive that now Africans are not longer thinking about now. Like, when you pass this bill, we know that in the future we're going to suffer.
yeah,
So we are saying our mentality of that, so we have to appreciate the progress that we are making as Africans. I've seen some of the comments where people are saying, oh, hopelessness. No, me, I see progress. I see that we are
absolutely.
becoming more alert as ourselves. We are becoming more knowledgeable. We are becoming more forward thinking people as Africans. We are seeing, oh, this is what we need. Even, and it's not just here it's all over Africa. You can even testify in Tanzania. You can testify even in Uganda. Africans are now looking at policies that will benefit them, not just now but in the future. Policies that will not benefit just us but our children. Even when you talk about even the LGBTQ people, you have how many, you can even see it here on the social media, you can see it even on the street. People are not, people are not just engaging this from just religion point of view. People are looking at, hey, how is the population, people are like our Africans. Sometimes when just today I was listening to some Africans, and they're talking about maandamano, and it was in Kenya we call them mama mboga. I don't know, maybe it is the same, mama mboga. The ladies, the women who sell fruits and vegetables.
Mama Boga. No, you ain't have that,
Uh,
man.
where,
Mama Boga.
the women who sell fruits and vegetables, and they were talking about how the governor of Nairobi, like they're talking about policies. They are talking
Yeah.
about like if this policy will in, it will help me in my own small business of selling fruits and vegetables. These are the policies that this policy will not help me. This, so we are having. I'm enjoying. I know this. Growth is painful sometimes, and so sometimes this protest we can see that you can look at it from the negative point of view, but you can also look at it as a point of growth that for the first time we are really, you know, these parliamentarians or this Western agenda, they cannot
Yeah.
push the way from behind the scenes where small policies that maybe they think Africans, they say Africans cannot read. They think that
Yeah.
if they put this in a bill like this, and Africans will not notice it.
Yeah.
But now we are showing that no, we are noticing even those bills that you think are complicated, that language of lawyers you think you cannot not, we are noticing, you
Mm.
know. So to me, we are moving on a positive trajectory as Africans. There is a lot of hope for the future. I see a lot of positive changes that not just as Africans. I see Pan Africa. I see, and one of the things I also enjoy, and I see that is Africans that are migrating in Africa. We have people, not just Ugandans living in Uganda. We see Ugandans in Tanzania. We see them in Kenya. We see Congolese. We are seeing diversity. We are seeing diversity of ideas. We are seeing, yeah, like diversity in mentality, and we are all appreciating all these things. Even right now, we have to also thank social media is helping us, because even you can just go to TikTok and you can see people's views, people who you will never know, you know,
Mm.
people you will never know what they thought. Now you can, it is also hard for politicians the way they
Mm.
used to do it. Maybe they push that, oh, I'm speaking for the people. These days you have social media where you can go to the people direct and you can see what they think. You know,
Yeah.
so it is even becoming harder for politicians or to push Western narratives like as if it is African sanctioned.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is what I'm enjoying. This is the growth I'm enjoying. And I will also encourage guys not to be hopeful. There is always positive moves. People are becoming more entrepreneurial. We are every year more, the percentage of Africans that are educated it is increasing every, and the illiteracy rates in Africa is decreasing every year. Every
Mm.
year, these are the things I like to see.
Mm.
Every year, nobody looks at these statistics, maybe because we are all, sometimes we look at the big picture, sometimes we forget even the small wins we have, like less people are dying because of preventable diseases, less people are dying of hunger, and less people, so if you look at these statistics there, you will just be more hopeful. So to me, what next for Kenya is we continue with this political awareness, we continue to be educated in the civil space. We continue to hold the government to account. In fact, William. Hello. Yeah, I think Mika has dropped. I think he's going to come back soon. But yeah, what I was saying is, I feel I feel like there's a lot of progress that is happening in Kenya, not in Kenya, just in Africa as a whole, and Africans are putting governments to the check, and so protests are just part of the process. Civil disobedience or civil awareness. So, and I will also encourage the diaspora. I see the comments that we have diaspora who are curious about Africa. Come, your expertise and your skills are always needed and are always welcome. And they are, especially because a new mentality that challenges the status quo is always good for the continent. Yeah, as we wait for Mika, let me see if I can just read the comments. African debt should be written off. by the lenders using using the overpayment of interest paid on those loans to settle it. Yeah, this is a fight that Africans are fighting for. I see President Ruto fighting about this issue on debt. I hope we get there because it's as long as the conversation has begun, and I see this also in I've seen President Ramaphosa, I think, speak about this. I've seen the president of Ghana also talk about debt. So yeah, the Kenyan president cannot wave a magic wand. No one can. A curfew. The I think that's true actually. That in fact, this is something I forgot to mention, that the president, he cannot do anything on his own. Like, the president is just one. The executive is just one arm of government. We have the judiciary, we have the parliament. We have the legislature. So yeah, but the president is also the head of a party, and also the opposition is also the head of a party. So we can judge their party policies, because sometimes people feel like you don't elect a president. When you go to an election, it's not just the president. You are electing the whole members of parliament. You're electing governors, senators. So it's essentially, what are the policies that this party is pushing. And I feel like, as Africans, we should be very, because a lot of African countries, a lot of African, and this is not an African thing. I think a lot of politicians are hypocrites. To me, I feel like they do, especially in Africa, where they did this one thing, then they go and do something else, and then so they act like as if they're the solution to the problems that they themselves caused. And because Africans, we are distracted by all this personality politics. We forget that, oh my god, this politician is the one who caused this problem in the first place. you know so I feel like, yeah, we should always be policy based. I think that is something that, as Africans, we should always be very sharp about. We should always be very aware of the policies that benefit us, and I feel that it's happening. That is my own opinion. I feel like it is happening. I feel like there is a growth in this mental space as Pan Africans. You can even see President Ramaphosa going all the way to Russia, and just to have talks about solving global problems. So I feel like we are growing into ourselves. I feel like Africa is growing into ourselves. We are growing into our own. We're growing in our own confidence. We are growing in our own abilities, and the only issue we need to solve is industrialization. And this is why to me, that's why this is the biggest problem with the middle class. Like, let us have industrialists as middle class, because then when we go to like things like BRICS, or when we go to organizations, like, we have an agenda. We have, whether we make this type of things, and we want these things to be sold in the world. Not just our vegetables, not just our raw materials. Like, this is what we manufacture, and we want this, and we want to have this take in the world. I think that makes us have a more legitimate agenda when we enter in global geopolitics, than just have just the normal, we don't want to be, just want to change in the world order. But what is our stake? What is our, what do we want in this global? What are we benefiting in this new global order? Like, and to me, I feel like we need to, if we industrialize and have actually complex not raw material, but complex produce to sell. Like, we make this type of cars, we make these chips, or we make this anything. Yes, as long as we are manufacturing something, I feel like we will have we have, yeah. I think, let me not repeat myself, but our agenda will be much more clear. Even when politicians go like, hey, we need to buy our stuff. This is the stuff we are manufacturing. You need to buy it. Not just going there. Oh, we're selling our gold, our diamonds. We are selling our cobalt, in which we could be making the batteries ourselves.
Yeah,
Oh, welcome back, Mika. Welcome back.
yeah, man. My laptop just went off, all of a sudden, and I appreciate that, man. You were there. One of the things I've really enjoyed this conversation, and I really enjoyed I mean, the direction that it took for us to just go deeper. So for those who are joining right now, you haven't listened and you don't know where we started, I really I really urge you guys to really go back and to watch this live stream. It will be available here, and I'll try to cut some parts as well to share later on. But I really urge you guys to go back and to see, because I think one of the biggest question that we answered is it Ruto against Odinga, or is it Kenyans against the government, right, versus government. So I think that's what we just really went down. We dive really in, and just share different opinions, so you guys can actually go back and check it out. Um, but Mwenatezi, I really appreciate you for stepping out here today and share your thoughts. Remember that your hidden hands. We really need that for your voice. So so let me know. Let me know. Don't be a stranger. Let me know like when you're ready to start and which direction you want to take. Because one of our mission here is to colonize the mind through authentic knowledge, right? The knowledge about Africa, the knowledge of our people. So I appreciate that this was basically the kind of like the beginning of the hidden hand, me and you. So this is beautiful. This is the beginning. We just gotta carry on with that momentum and just bring on. There's a lot of people who would love to come here and to share their knowledge and all this stuff. So Mwenatezi, I love you, brother, and thank you so much for coming here today.
Thank you, Mika. Yeah, any day, I'm ready to start on the hidden hand. So, yeah, I think we'll talk to you about the specific day, and
Absolutely.
we we start this machine.
Yeah, I love that. You let me know exactly the day you want to do it, and for us, we'll do our part to just prepare that thing and to share with the people so that everybody can be excited. And you let me know as well the topic that you're gonna start with, and yeah, we'll bring people. And if there's any book to read and all those stuff, you can share with me as well, and I will share with the people as well to go to kind of like do a little bit of homework before we come and have that beautiful session of the hidden hand.
Yeah, thank you, Mika.
All right, one love, my brother. You guys. Yeah, so guys, that was it. A very productive session, and I appreciate everybody who joined here. If you're joining right now and you have no idea what the heck is going on, I just advise you to go back and to check it out this stream from the very beginning. I'm pretty sure you learn a lot. And these are just our thoughts, but you guys have your thoughts as well. So feel free to just jump in the comment section and just share whatever opinion, whatever thoughts you have, and it would be amazing. I want to appreciate the people here in the comment section, all of you guys who came and joined up. Appreciate the enthusiasm in the comment section, and your opinion matters a lot. You don't just talk to us, but you talk to everybody who is watching out there. And I believe all of us are learning from one another. The moment you stop learning, you stop growing. All right. And the power of the oppressor is the maintenance of ignorance. So let's open up our mind and learn new things every single day. Support the videos we share. Those are kind of marifa and knowledge that we share with you guys. Just get get what good for you and what is good for your soul. Lectures from our grandpa Museven, PLO Lumumba. We have Kagame. We have Ruto. We have Ramaphosa. We have a lot of people. And yesterday, for the first time, I shared the videos of Julius Malema for the very first time. So all of this is just to share this different knowledge that some of our people have. Some of them can come from you. So even if you have a video that you recorded, oh yeah, let me say this: if you have a video that you recorded, you feel like this, I really want Africa to know this. I really want Africans to get this knowledge. Share with me. Share with me. I will actually upload it here. It just needs to be very quality when it comes to audio. And if you appear as well, then it has to be as well quality video. I want to maintain that. Yeah, share with me and we'll share, because this is the platform for all of us and want to unite our people. So whatever you have, if you have a content and you love to share with us, it's your person and you love to share with us, yeah, share with us. Share with us in oneafricaofficial@gmail.com. Send there, or you can just, yeah, if you send it there, the link, it might be like through transfer.com or Drive. Just share with us, and we're gonna go through it. The team will go through it, and then we'll be sharing here. Yeah. Whatever the case, God, I love you and thank you for being here. Oh, Carlos Ortiz, I appreciate, man. You remember me at the end of this session, Carlos. I appreciate. Thank you for the super chats. That means a lot. So I really appreciate for that heart of giving. You didn't have to do that, but I appreciate for, um, you know, just giving. You're highly appreciated. Yeah, highly appreciated. Okay, so I'm just going to finish with the word of prayer and thanksgiving for this session and for everything that has happened here within 1 minute, 1 hour and 35 minutes. Goes to 36 right now. God, I thank you for everything that has happened here today. Thank you for the gift of life. Thank you for the gift of this oxygen. And thank you for the gift of Africa and Africans. It's like you gifted this world with Africans. In reality, the reality and the truth is this is one of the most amazing continents on earth. That's the truth. Africans are just incredible. I look at myself every single day at the mirror and I'm just amazed by this wonder that you have installed in me. And that's what I see every time I interact with Africans all across the world, either through the comment section or phone calls or WhatsApp messages. But for so long, that hasn't been the case, even though that's the truth. But what we've been feeling and the facts of this world that are not really, doesn't really mean the truth, just the facts. And the ideas constantly been showing us something else. So we are at this state that we don't really look up to ourselves, and even some of us go a little bit crazier believing that we are cursed and we are not lucky enough. But I don't believe in that. That's just a bullshit, and I don't buy it, because I know and I believe and I see who we are as Africans, that we are more than what the book says. We are more than what we think we are, because we are the image of the Almighty God. So just pray for that knowledge and that truth to sink in our hearts and to never forget who we really are. Not from the histories, not from the speeches, not from even these videos, but who we really are through the eyes of the Almighty God. So I just pray that awakening in all of us to really be awakening, merely through our body, but in our spirit, to be awakening. Our relationship with you, the Creator, to be reconnected, reinitiated once again, because we'll only know ourselves deeply and entirely if we are connected to you, the one who made heaven and earth and everything. And you say in Psalm 24 that the heavens and the earth, and even us, we are yours. We belong to you. So I thank you for that knowledge, and I thank you for that breakthrough, God, as we pass through all these difficulties for ages and ages, God. I believe this is not the end of the story. And our story is just being written, and it's just the beginning. And I praise you and I glorify you for privileged me enough to be here in this community, in this family, and to lead however that you've given me this vision, your vision. So thank you for everybody who is joining this family, that you brought them from all across the world, all religions, all backgrounds, all histories, and all the stuff. God, thank you. Because even when you came here into the earth, you didn't come to bring religion, but you brought the kingdom of God. And I just pray for that kingdom of God to be here in Africa. It's already here. So I just pray that we will all be opened our eyes and realize that whatever struggles, crises that we have, It has nothing to do with us, but it has everything to do with what you have installed within us. For us to focus on something else and not really focus on who we really are as a people and who we really are as your people and what you called us to do. Not focusing on the purpose that you've called us to work towards every single day and just to focus on the crisis that we have. So I pray for that shift today in your precious name, that there'll be that shift in our spirit, there'll be the shift in our eyes, there'll be the shift in our mind, there'll be the shift in our souls to know that we are called to bring your kingdom here on earth as it is in heaven. That your original idea is not for us to just leave this place the worse than we found, but to leave this place the better place for living. A little bit better than today, a little bit better than yesterday. So I pray that all of us will be awakening and know our place and will not sleep until we see that happening in our generation. I pray that awakening in our leaders as well, regardless of how much we hate them or we don't like them. But God, you can see use them to transform this. So I thank you because you give us strength to step out and to do what we are called to do, to bring that change that we need to see. Thank you. In your precious name, in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, I pray with thanksgiving. I thank you. Amen. All right. This is beautiful. Oh, I did not expect to pray that much, but God is good. And I bless you guys. Just know that God is in control. And that's the hope that we have in Him. This is the confidence we have in Him that if we pray everything according to His name, He hears us. And we're not stopping there. We're stepping out to work hard, to put it into action. And so I praise God for that. Well, more like my grandson. I'm 59 years old. Oh, Carlos. Oh, my God. Okay, let me say this. My dad and my mom, they are 60 something years of age. They're older than you. So basically, I'm like your son, right? My dad and my mom, they're like 67 and 65 years of age, and they're heading to 68 and 66. 66. Yeah, so basically, I'm your son. Appreciate. Thank you so much. It's amazing actually to see that we have our fathers and mothers actually following us, and we just need that wisdom. We need that wisdom from you, and we need that guidance, and we need your prayer because we're here. We are picking up the stick where you left, and we just want to carry on with that vision until the end of time. So I love you. Thank you for your heart and for just standing with me. That means a lot. That means a lot. So yeah, thank you everybody for standing with us. We love you guys. It's hard to leave, but I gotta sign out. So thank you. Keep us in your prayer. Keep us in your prayer every single day. It's very important. And yeah, the rest, God knows how we'll do. Reggie, yeah, appreciate. All right, guys, gotta get out of here. Right. All right. I love you guys. I'll see you guys in. We will release a video today of Yoelimu 7. Go and watch that video. And if you join us late here, go back and check out this video. I'm pretty sure you'll be blessed. All right, guys.